Are the best questions for your clients who are analytical, logical, and very cognitive? And so this is a great question because a lot of hypnotherapists and even NLPers will really um, have this difficulty or lack of confidence when working with clients who are very logical and analytical. A lot of the times these type of clients just word vomit out, right? And so what are the best questions that you can ask them so that they can get the fastest breakthroughs? And a lot of trainings are going to tell you to just even make them go deeper in hypnosis. I'm not going to talk about any of that shit because hypnosis doesn't equal a breakthrough. More on that on a different video. But today we're really going to focus on the type of questions to ask analytical clients. And so, um, when we are talking about analytical clients, they are very much like they're very aware, right? A lot of analytical clients probably have seen pop psychology and have diagnosed themselves with all of the things from the internet and social media, right? And so sometimes it is difficult for them to either feel the emotions, the intellectualize their emotions a lot in particular. And so, how do you get more out of them? How do you get more detailed information? How do you ensure that they get the results? Well, what we know is the power of the unconscious mind, right? We know that the actual problem, the real problem, not just the presenting problem symptom, like for example, this analytical client wants to stop binge eating. The binge eating really isn't the problem, right? It is something deeper that we get to explore with them. And so we know that all of those things are still unconscious. That is why they still have the problem. And of course, the solution lies unconsciously. The client in front of us has solved their problem forever. So therefore, they know the answers within. It is not up to us to find it, right? And so in the hypnotic questioning process, all we're doing is asking our clients questions, investigatory questions. And so sometimes that can be very difficult because we'll have an analytical client and the type of questions we'll ask will give us very surface level answers. And how you get to the deeper level answers and the very, very best questions that work really well with analytical clients. And these are the clients that I attracted. Most of my clients were very analytical, very logical. And so the traditional hypnotherapy methods were really like hit or miss for them. And so when I learned how to ask these types of questions, and this is a skill, this is something you're not just going to learn here, you need to put this in practice. This is why we spend hours and hours and hours training this inside hypnotic questioning trainings, is your ability to ask unconscious answers, unconscious questions. Unconscious questions, questions that elicit unconscious information. And what this means is that the questions you ask will allow your clients to really ponder the question, really think and pause about the question. So deep, deep questions. And one of the easiest way to think about it is that what are the signs that the unconscious mind is in action based on your previous trainings? What were those for you? What were the signs that the unconscious mind is peaking? What are the signs that we are in unconscious territory? Comment them down below and be active in this. If you want to go from good results, extraordinary results, you want to take action like right now as you're listening to this. What is it? You're not just going to think of and passively take in information here. What is it that you have learned that makes you know that what you are asking or what you are seeing within your client is unconscious? What is that? So I'll give you an example here, but think about it right now. An example is emotion, right? So an emotion is an unconscious process. And so when your clients are expressing emotions or talking about their emotions, you are then going to ask questions based on the emotion. If another example is metaphors, right? So if your client is talking organically about a metaphor, you are then going to ask them about it. This is what not to do because a lot of hypnotherapists think about this, right? A client says, "Oh my God, I feel so guilty. I feel so guilty and ashamed after eating 3 cookies last night." Same analytical client, and they say, "But I know blah 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 blah," and they say blah 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 blah, and then they keep on talking about this feeling of guilt and shame. So therefore, you would ask more questions about the guilt and shame. So tell me more about the guilt or shame. Tell me more about the shame that you felt last night when you ate the 3 cookies. Those are the types of questions you want to ask. You want to avoid saying things like, "Oh, wow, you feel guilty from last night." I want you to imagine that guilt coming out of your body. What color is it? I want you to take that out and imagine that you have an energetic cord with the guilt and you're going to cut that cord right now. No, no, no. Some analytical clients are not going to do well with that or even know what the hell you're talking about. That is me. I am that analytical, stubborn client. I don't know what the fuck that means. And so, what that does if you do that, and that's why I'm suggesting that you avoid it, is that some clients are just either going to go along to get along with you, or they're just not going to know what you're talking about. And that's not really the client's fault. And that's also not fully your fault because that's how you were trained, but it is your responsibility to make it better. And how you make it better is just by investigating. Tell me more about that guilt. Tell me more about that shame. Do you often feel that way when this happens? What are the times when, like explore that question. What are the times that make you want to eat those 3 cookies? What's happening there? What are you like? What does it feel like that makes you want to grab all those cookies? Investigatory questions, right? Not fix it questions, not let's get rid of the shame and guilt right now, because that is just bypassing the real problem. By doing that, by learning the methods to immediately get rid of the emotion or belief, we are bypassing critical lessons that client can learn at that moment in time. And so going back to the analytical clients, if say they're talking, it's all conscious, and they start talking about the feeling and the emotions of feeling guilty, that is what's going to help them slow down, and that those are going to be the best questions. If that analytical client talks in metaphors, you will then ask about the metaphor, right? It feels like I'm just climbing up a hole. I have to climb up the hole, and then I feel like eating those 3 cookies because I needed to climb up that hole. It helps me get out of the hole, kind of thing. So instead, some hypnotherapists and coaches are going to be trained to be like, "Okay, let's get you out of the hole. Imagine that you have a nice rope and you're just going to climb off that wall into the heavens and into the ethers where you feel so good about yourself." That is the typical thing, right? No, again, no. You just want to explore the metaphor because there is a reason why that metaphor came up, and there is a reason why their unconscious mind is giving them this metaphor. And by you asking them about it, they will then find the solution themselves. You don't find the solution for them, they will find it themselves. And what do you think is going to cause better results and lasting results? You helping them climb out of the hole from the imagination, from your guesses, or the client sitting in it and then seeing and problem solving themselves as to how they can climb out that hole? What do you think is going to be better? Of course, the client's answers, right? Because it's their life. Therefore, we ask them that question. And so, again, putting it back to the analytical client, by focusing the questioning on the unconscious information. And these are only 2 of the many, 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 many examples of unconscious processes, metaphors or emotions. Focus your questions on that instead of getting lost in the story of the cookies, right? It's not about the cookies. It's not about the cookies. What do you think is going to be better in terms of the depth of the transformation? You talking about the damn cookies, or you talking about the guilt and shame? Which is going to help them turn their life around faster. Working through the guilt or shame or the damn cookies, talking about the damn cookies, right? So focus on the unconscious information and just watch the results for your analytical clients extremely get exponentially better. For me, analytical clients are fun. I love them because I have the confidence because I know how to ask questions, when to ask them, what type of information to ask them, and how to know that their results are lasting. This is what the hypnotic questioning sessions and program is all about. And so next time, take action on this right now. This is not going to be helpful for you until you actually take action on this. So let me know how that goes once you take action on asking your analytical clients more of the unconscious information. Update me on how it went for you, and I will see you next time.